And here come the Seagulls, the home team, led by their captain, coach, and Wally Lewis. Fireworks galore, big crowd in attendance. A couple of footballs for souvenirs for the crowd here tonight at Seagulls Stadium. And almost a must-win game for Wally Lewis's team tonight. They scored the same tries against Manly, but were beaten on kicks and were downed in the dying minutes by the Broncos last week. Here's the team board for the Gold Coast. Danny Peacock is the fullback. The wingers are Clinton Moore and Robin Thorne. The centres, Dale Shearer and Paul Martin. Wally Lewis is the 5'8", and of course captain. Jason Twist, I think, have been proven in the Winfield Cup at halfback. Brett Horsnell is at lock forward. The second row is Darren Wowlands and Peter Gill had a sensational match last week. The front row is Steve Jackson, along with Brent Todd, and the hooker is Ray Herring, and they're coached, of course, by Wally Lewis. The man on screen, big responsibility this year for him as captain coach. He must be impressed for what his team has given him so far. 4 tries each against Manly, led the Broncos to the last 12 minutes before the individual brilliance of Alan Langer took its toll. But his team must win tonight against an understrength Illawarra.
So there's the Illawarra side getting ready for action here at Seagulls Stadium tonight. Here's how they line up. David Riolo is the fullback. Brett Doherty on one wing. The other wing is the ever-reliable Alan McIndoe. In the centres tonight, Ryan Girdler and Dale Fritz. The 5'8", Ian Russell, and the halfback John Simon. Lock forward is John Cross. In the second row tonight, we have Craig Izzard, who'll be leading the side. The other second row, Les Morrissey. And then the front row is made up of Craig Teitzel, the replacement player. David Walsh is the other front rower, and Dean Skipolaiti is the hooker. And their coach, of course, is Graham Murray, who's done a marvellous job with this side. And there he is up there giving out some last-minute instructions.
So the match about to get underway. Referee Eddie Ward. And the Seagulls needing a victory tonight. They've got none out of 2 in the competition. Illawarra started with, and it's a surprise already in the short kick. Illawarra started with a draw against Newcastle and a win over Cronulla. Now this is Morrison. 10 short of the halfway mark, so already the surprise packets with the short kick-off as Teitzel takes it to the halfway. David Walsh, he's got one. Referee calls out Brent Todd, the tackle on David Walsh, and he's pretty groggy. He sent him off. He's gone. Brent Todd has been sent from the field by referee Eddie Ward with 60 seconds on the clock, Andrew Slack.
Well, the rule attacking the head of the opposition can deem a send-off offence. That's exactly how Eddie Ward has seen it. The Gold Coast Seagulls now without their powerhouse prop for 79.5 minutes. How do they cope with that? We've seen from the kick-off that they're prepared to be inventive, that short kick-off. Now, of course, they'll be ruining that because that position has ended up this happening. He's come around, I reckon, high, certainly high, but whether or not it was head high or around the top of the shoulders, well, Eddie Ward is the man who deemed it high. He's put Brent Todd, no 10 minutes, and the Steelers now on the attack. The Seagulls very much up against it.
Well, to ask 12 men to go 79 minutes, very tough task. Now Teitzel 22 out from the line. Skiffoletti goes to dummy half. It goes through Simon, and he picks up Morrissey. They run it to the centre of the ground, the Steelers. Now they keep going the right side, and this is John Cross. He's at the 22-metre line. Now it goes into the hands of Russell. He's 20 out from the line. Quick plays the ball. That's a penalty. Brett Horsnell was the man in the road. A quick play the ball from Russell into Horsnell, who failed to clear the ruck. And this should be first points on the board to Illawarra. It also might, Andrew Slack, give the Seagulls a chance to settle down and regroup.
Yes, at this moment, though, Wally Lewis is standing out looking a bit bewildered, not talking to his troops, as is his normal tray. I think they've had a bit of a struggle with the referees over the last 2 weeks. That first minute occurrence certainly won't help their their mental side, and I think it's now up to Wally Lewis to make sure that he gets his troops, gets them together and says, forget about it, boys. Getting back to that point, I mean, a referee has got to be dead set certain that the offence occurred if he's to do something as drastic as send someone off in the first minute. Now, Eddie Ward obviously had no doubts about it. The replay suggested that perhaps you might have given him 10 and started again. Here we see it again, and it comes, and I don't think he actually attacked the head. It slipped up would be my go, and to send him off, tough call.
Brett Doherty now. No goal. Well, he should have put that over, only 22 metres out, but it's gone wide.
If suddenly the Seagulls can get a break, perhaps put some points on the board, that will get them right back in it. Tough call for 80 minutes because tiredness obviously comes into it. But I think the Seagulls really now have to concentrate on their attack.
Well, one of the things they can look forward to is that wind behind them in the second half, Andrew, and it's pretty strong.
Yeah, it certainly was out in the pitch prior to the match, and it really was a decent gale. I thought, well, this will help Wally Lewis's game. He kicked so well last week against the Broncos, but they've got that to look forward to in the second half.
Robin Thorne taking plenty of time to pick that one up. Now a penalty. Up inside the 10, says referee Eddie Ward. And I guess you've got to remember the other thing, too, with this Illawarra side. I think the last 6 matches, they haven't won a game by more than 4 points.
Which I think is of great credit to them. I'm really looking forward to seeing them play. It's great to see a team that hasn't really taken part in semi-finals over the past number of years. They've been in the competition since '82, and the way they've started 1992 looks as if they're a team of real potential. So let's hope they go well tonight. Pity that they're up against 12 men, but certainly they'll show us their best, I've got no doubt. And it's a welcome to people in the Win Network as the Seagulls receive a penalty from Wollongong, watching in Wollongong tonight and throughout Queensland country. Special welcome to you, and I know those Wollongong people will be well behind the Steelers and wouldn't have been too depressed to see Brent Todd's back in the first minute. Lewis for touch.
So the second penalty in a matter of a minute, and they'll bring it up to about 25 metres out now from the Steelers line. The tap is taken. The ball comes back this time to Peter Gill. And what a buy he's been for this Gold Coast side. He's been outstanding. This is Horsnell. Horsnell do about 18 metres out now from that line. Herring to dummy half. He works the up inside to Jason Twist. And there's no chance of finding a way through there. Herring to dummy half. Herring back to Twist, then away to Lewis. Lewis running back inside, sends his pass away to Horsnell, out of one tackle, out of Russell. Can't get away for the next one, though. Lewis calling the shots at dummy half himself this time to Shearer. Shearer well and truly wrapped up and thrown to the ground in the tackle of Morrissey. They come away with it. This is Danny Peacock. Away to Herring. Herring going for the line. He's in. Herring in for the try, the first of the match. And the Gold Coast open up a lead of 4 points to 0.
Outstanding try to the Seagulls and just what was needed. And their big players, Dale Shearer, Wally Lewis and Valdez Dale Shearer making that initial break. And look for Danny Peacock. Gee, he had a top game last week in attack against the Brisbane Broncos. There he is from a standing start. Off the right foot again, inside, takes 2 tacklers out of play, inside to Ray Herring, ever in support over the line. Great try to the Seagulls.
Well, it really, at that stage, it looked as though they were going nowhere. But all of a sudden, Peacock appears from nowhere, steps his way through, out of a couple of tackles. Herring had to turn around and get involved again, but he was over for the try.
Stretched very nicely as well, and that is what they've got to do. They've got to take risks with 12 men, and perhaps had they had their 13, Dale Shearer mightn't have tried to get that pass away. They know they've got to try things tonight. Should make for some pretty exciting footy.
Well, they've certainly got the crowd going here at Seagulls Stadium. The big chant for Seagulls going up as Dale Shearer attempts to convert the try. It's a pretty simple one, but he's missed it. Hooked it away to the left-hand side of the uprights. So at this stage, the Gold Coast lead by 4 points to 0.
Plenty of chases. Cross was first there. Also there was Girdler. Now Martin. The same 2 tacklers. Dummy half is Herring. Now to Gill. In this set of 6, the defence of Illawarra is pretty strong. They know they need possession down inside Seagull territory. Freestone can't get out of his own quarter. Do they kick on the early tackles? No, they decide to run it. The option's gone now. This is the final one. Now Doherty's up in the line. Lewis gets the kick in. Riolo runs to Robin Thorne and Horsnell cuts him down. Fritz. Good run of about 5 metres. He's 10 out from the 22 as it goes to John Simon, to Craig Teitzel. And the big fella's almost at the 22-metre line. Skiffoletti to dummy half. It goes to Craig Izzard. Inside it goes to Russell. But so far the Seagulls defence to the fore.
A good sound play from the Steelers. Switching play, just keep letting the ball do the work, getting in front of the man. They're thinking the breaks will eventually come, and it's looking that way.
Morrissey almost made it. They're on the final tackle. Simon calls for it on the right side, but it goes to Riolo. Out wide it goes. In goes Girdler, gets it down, and that'll be a try to Ryan Girdler. He even had McIndoe on his outside. He didn't need him, and now it's 4 points apiece, and they just ran out of numbers, the Seagulls in defence.
You said it. They just ran out of numbers, and that's going to be their problem all night. They'll run out of numbers. It was 3-on-2 at that stage, and the dummy did the job, and Girdler's gone on. He's had a great start to the season. Of course, Rodwell, a fine player. He's come in as a replacement, this Ryan Girdler. Scored a couple of tries last week and in for the first tonight.
David Riolo chiming in at the right time. He actually dummied to McIndoe, and he's a try-scoring machine in his own right. But this fellow's starting to get a name for himself of getting over the white chalk, and he's tough and he's strong, and he stood in the tackles of Martin and Peacock and got the ball down. Away, no goal, so it's 4 points all.
Away from dummy half, that was O'Meara there, who's on the field now. Teitzel still fighting his way up there to a few metres short of halfway. Dummy by Skipper-Leedy, back to Russell, looking good, looking around for support. Cutting across field, still going, but eventually going to be wrapped up over there. So the final tackle. Back it comes to Morrissey, then to Simon. Here's the kick. How is that one? Back into the in-goal area. Bouncing into touch in the in-goal. So play will come back onto the quarter line.
Once a good steady play from the Steelers. What the Seagulls will have to watch out for in defence is that dummy half area, because I think the marker are obviously very keen to get out and save that gaping hole in defence caused by the dismissal of Todd. They may scoot off too early, and that's allowing a bit of leeway around the dummy half, which the Steelers are using to full effect.
16 minutes to half-time and 4 all to score. Seagulls have done a tremendous job with 12 men as Dale Shearer driven back on the tackle. In went Dale Fritz, and also was John Simon. Now Peter Gill takes it to the centre of the ground. The last 10 minutes and 15 minutes before the break will test the Seagulls out. Martin couldn't get his pass away. The tackle over the top from Russell was too good for him. Now it's with Jason Twist, to Brett Horsnell. On the blind side for Lewis. And how's the bouncer be for the play on? Getting out of tackles is Peacock. Big run, Danny Peacock. Six tackles remaining. Now Lewis looking to turn it inside, and he does. So the Seagulls move down to within 30 metres of the line as where Steve Jackson plays it through Shearer. Now to Peter Gill. Hands free. Who's got it? Tackle without the ball, penalty Seagulls. And even though Shearer's kicking hasn't been all that hot, you nearly have to have a go, wouldn't you, Andrew?
Well, it's a big decision. 32 metres out, he's no certainty. And they obviously, well, he's made the decision now. There it is, the ball goes to, and one of the Steelers offside. He's made the decision, Wally Lewis. They are going to attempt the kick for goal.
I think this is Shearer's best distance, by the way. About 32 metres out.
We're about to find out.
I think he's better out there than he is in place. We'll soon find out in a minute. Up she goes. Dale Shearer converts it, and the Seagulls lead by 6 points to 4. So play to come back to the halfway. And somehow at half-time, if the Seagulls can go in with a lead at half-time, I think Illawarra will start scratching heads. and say, well, what's going on? But there is 13 minutes remaining before half-time. Territory is important for the Gold Coast. They've got to get down the other end of the field, and Peter Gill did well getting out of the 22. Darren Wolans. He's now 32 out from his own line. Herring to dummy half. Jackson back to Shearer.
Indeed, the State of Origin representative players really taking the burden of responsibility. Shearer, Jackson and Lewis doing a heap of work between them.
There's 6 more to go. Jason Twist flicked it out the back and Illawarra touched it. Now they don't need that sort of panic stuff from Clinton Moore. They had 6 tackles to go and he threw it on the first tackle, and now Illawarra come up with a loose head and feet inside Gold Coast territory.
Yeah, and threw it at a couple of million miles an hour as well. Saw someone with blue and white, said, cop this. Peter Gill couldn't cop it. Feed and scrum to Illawarra.
So, Simon, away to Russell. Well, Greg Dowling, here we go. Russell at the 22. Here's Illawarra on the boil. There's 6 more tackles to go as it goes to Fritz. He's 18 out from the try line. Walsh is looking to hit it up to take the settler. He takes it to the centre of the ground. Skipperletti goes to dummy half looking for Teitzel. He's got the ball now, the big fellow, and he runs it within 5 metres of the line. Seagulls lead by 6 points to 4. It's desperation stuff left-hand side. Now Simon. Back inside it goes to Cross. Skipperletti. And the tackling's too good from the Seagulls. Skipperletti now to Simon, and the long pass to Teitzel out wide. McIndoe juggles it. Somehow stays in the field of play. Simon to put the ball along the ground, and that's saved. Back of the in goal by Peter Gill. Well, he's not over the chalk. I thought he might have been. He's just in the field of play. So the Seagulls bring it away. 10.5 minutes remaining. Martin to relieve a little bit of pressure. I'll tell you one fella that's played his heart out in this 40 minutes is Steve Jackson. Here's Peacock. So they're getting the ball down towards the end of that 22-metre line. Wolans takes it over the quarter, over the advantage line. Now the kick and chase. Lewis hurries. He just beats John Cross's tackle.
It's a great kick.
Oh, how good is that? They stand here at the stadium. Well, they do in front of our commentary box, I know, because I can't see, but the bloke sits down will be right. And so they should.
I remind you, folks, that's into the wind. He's only made the 70 metres on that one. Fantastic kick from Wally Lewis under intense pressure as well.
So it's the scrum to pack down, about 10 metres out now from the Illawarra line. And it looks like Riolo coming back onto the field for Mark O'Meara. So now it's, yes, O'Meara leaving and Riolo back onto the field. Scrum to be fed there by John Simon, out to Russell. Gee, that was great recovery from the Gold Coast. So probably about half a metre from the inside the field of play, and they've ended up 12 metres out from the Illawarra line. But they still have to withstand the pressure as Illawarra have possession right now. Back on the cross.
Children on the fence.
Skipperletti to dummy half. The Gold Coast lead by 6 points to 4. Remember, they're one man short. Brent Todd set from the field after some 35 seconds of play. Kick downfield by Simon. And that's looking pretty good too. It is going to find touch. Yes, it is. Nice work. Well, Greg Dowling, it's been pretty tough so far, but you've got to give the Seagulls their due. They're hanging on to a 2-point lead at the moment.
Yeah, they're doing it tough, but they've obviously lifted the game, which they've got it with the one man down. But Wally just did his block here before when they threw the ball around their own half. All they've got to do is what they did, just ruck it out, a great kicking game, and play Illawarra down in their own half.
Greg, you've played plenty of times with Wally when he's been under pressure. He's certainly that tonight, and it does bring out the best in him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. And like I said before, that first try, watch out for a big game from Rowdy. He will lift his game.
So it's Gold Coast in possession, just on their own quarter line. And this is Lewis. Breaks out of the first tackle coming in from Izzard. But losing the ball. And Illawarra coming away with it via Fritz. Dummy half Skipaliti. He'll get it back over there to Morrissey. But they're up onto the quarter line now. Back onto Walsh. He unloads it. Back to Skipaliti. Looking for a way up the centre. Looking for backers too, but no one there. Simon not too far away, but just not close enough. Simon will be the dummy half. Now back to Morrissey cutting around there. Final tackle. What will we see happen here? There's Simon. The little grubber kick through into the in-goal area. And Danny Peacock gets out underneath the goal post and brings it up to about 8 metres into the field of play.
Once again, some great defence, notably from Steve Jackson on that 5th tackle right around the legs. Caused the kick. Danny Peacock once again in fine position, and he's a hard man to put on the deck. And they've dropped the ball again. It'll be a scrum to the Steelers. And this is a real try time, I reckon, for them. They're looking as if they've got the pressure on the Seagulls. You wonder just how long they can hold out.
Well, we'll find out as the scrum packs down. It's only, 18 metres out from the Gold Coast line. It'll be Simon to feed.
The blind side's fairly wide,
isn't it? So Simon again. Over to Russell. Now he props Riolo into the back line. Grabbed by Shearer. And held up. This was Russell. He's also held up right on the quarter line. Played back again, Skipaliti from dummy half, searching his way through the centre. Russell. Oh, it's going to be lost by Morrissey. Gold Coast will come away with it. Jackson getting it away to Lewis. So the bench into attack. Touch judge coming on. Touch judge on to talk to referee Eddie Ward. What do you reckon, GD? We were following the ball. What did you see?
Yeah, there's a bit of a headbutt in the background here. Morrissey's headbutted Gill. He resented the tackle, and mate, he could be lucky to stay on the paddock here.
Well, that might liven up the game if it's one off each.
The old frustration creeps into it. When you think you should be ahead of the team, you've got one extra man, you really feel as if you should be running riot, and here they are down 6-4, and things like this can happen. You think a tackle, and perfectly legal tackle, can be responded to with something like that. This could really put his team under strife. Hasn't had a great record at the Seagull Stadium, Les Morrissey. Of course, a couple of years ago, suffered a bad injury here. So, for his sake and the Steelers, one would hope that Eddie Ward looks at this leniently.
Well, he's still talking to Morrissey. Captain Craig Izzard there, of course. And the penalty going to the Seagulls. Let's have another look at it.
The reason he was unhappy, of course, was he didn't have the ball.
Well, tell me, what's the difference between a headbutt and what Brent Todd did to David Walsh? Will someone tell me? He's headbutted him straight in the head, and he's allowed to stay on the field.
That's normally where you headbutt.
Well, on the snout. Well, what's the difference between that and Brent Todd? That's what I want to know.
Well, ask referee Ward.
5 minutes left in this first half, and the Seagulls lead the Steelers 6-4.
I would suggest, Andrew, they have one thing now would be to, from the Seagulls' point of view, would be to hang on and use that win to the second half with Lewis kicking downfield and trying to keep the Steelers down there as much as possible. But this is Shearer sending it back inside to Horsnell. But the Steelers still keeping up the pressure. And it's probably the big question now is how long this Seagull side can hang on. But that's Jackson, who's had a marvellous first half for them. He's risen to the occasion. Ward's going to go back behind Gill. Lost by Lewis. Goes straight to the hands of Izzard. He gets it away. Cutting his way across over there will be Girdler. Girdler in for try number 2. And that's how it can go. With a twinkling of an eyelid, the whole thing can change. And Illawarra hit the front by 8 points to 6.
Well, Wally Lewis will be absolutely filthy about this. A bad pass from dummy half that started with. One would have to guess it was Ray Herring there, but I'm not 100% sure. But the pass from dummy half went behind the intended player. Wally Lewis had to pick up the crumbs, couldn't do so. And you'll never guess who scored the try.
Girdler's a man on the spot.
Yes.
Here it goes again.
Yeah, Ray Herring, but behind Peter Gill. Whether Gill overran it, they may be able to argue in the bar. But Lewis had a difficult one to pick up, fell straight into the hands of Craig Izzard, the skipper, who a simple pass on to Ryan Girdler. Moore made good ground on him, but not good enough with the white chalk so close to him. The Steelers go to an 8-6 lead, which I think is fair to say is not deserved.
Let's see what Doherty can do. unsuccessful so far tonight. His kick is on the way. How's that direction? No good. It's going to be waved away. So he's consistent all right. None from 3. Illawarra lead by 8 points to 6.
Peacock. So he hangs on to possession and driven back 10 out from the line by John Simon and Les Morrissey. Clinton Moore. Underneath was Simon. That's 2 gone. Robin Thorne in from the wing. Now they're outside the 22. The crowd roaring for Illawarra to be onside. Steve Jackson has had a big first half. Now to Lewis. To split McIndoe and Riolo. It's now with McIndoe. He runs into Martin, Wolans and Clinton Moore, and the trio put him down. Riolo from dummy half. He's missed by Moore. He's trying to get out of the tackle of Darren Wolans, and he can't with only 40 seconds to the break. Now it goes to John Cross. Walsh. Now here's a chance. Russell in an offside position with only 17 minutes to go to the break. Now I don't think Shearer can reach the sticks from there. There's Russell standing in the offside position. So Lewis is going to have a go at goal himself from just inside the halfway. Billy, this will be interesting. My word, it will, because he's, as I said before, he's kicking into a strong breeze, quite a wind actually, not a breeze. Even though he didn't have a lot of trouble when he kicked for touch before, but this will be a massive kick. He can put it over. Hasn't got the legs. I tell you what, it was pretty straight, and so the tackle should be effective. Doherty goes to ground, and that's half-time, and at the break, Illawarra leads by 8 points to 6. Well, it's been a sensational first half. Sensational match starting in the first minute with Brent Todd going in a tackle on David Walsh, sent from the field by referee Eddie Ward, and the Seagulls with 12 men are only down by 2 points. They've played their heart out, and it's been a massive performance by them, particularly the big fella Steve Jackson. State of Origin just around the corner, and this fellow is running himself into form and fitness, I think, at the right end of the spectrum. All right, at half-time, the Steelers lead the Seagulls by 8 points to 6. We'll take a break. We'll be back at the Gold Coast Seagull Stadium.
So it's Gold Coast in possession, just inside their own quarter line. Steve Jackson, who had a great first half for the team here tonight, and they'll need him to keep on putting in that effort also in this second half. But time will tell. Another 40 minutes of football here. There's Shearer, who's dropped in as dummy half. Well, Andrew, he's one of the key men, isn't he?
He has. He's done a fair bit of up-front running, Dale Shearer, of course, with Brent Todd off. They've been one short in those charges, and Dale Shearer's taken it on himself to do a few, which a bit odd for him. But anyway, he's working hard, but what they need him to do is get a bit wider and use those elusive skills rather than the barging ones.
So here's Riolo into it. He loves a bit of work, this little fella, and a very capable footballer. It's amazing when you look at this Illawarra side, Andrew, what they've done so far in the comp. They're without players such as Mick Neal, Pinchinella, Brett Rodwell, Rod Wishart, Steve Waddell and Doug Delaney. It's been pretty good, isn't it?
Of course, that sort of thing augurs well for them later in the season, because if a team in the Rugby League, Sydney Rugby League competition hasn't got any depth, well, they're destined to fail. They'll never get near the 5 no matter how well they start the season. So without those players, they know they've come back. This team they've got now, and Chris Walsh, who's injured this week, you know, they've got the players. They've got more than 13 or 14 players to muck around with. So perhaps come the end of the season, we may see a Steelers team in the final 5.
Let's have a look at it. Freestone was the man taking it. It was up there, ending up with the ball.
Just trying to ward him off, and went low with the arm, and he just copped him in the wrong place on the head, I'd say.
No, they're struggling a bit. They're turning the ball over a fair bit. You know, they've got to get back to their pattern. Murray would be very disappointed.
So Herring at dummy half gives it to Gill. Benchley's wrestled to the ground by Walsh and also Morrissey. Now to Lewis. Is that a late tackle? No. Ward says play on. Riolo. Wrapped up by Wolins. He'll play the ball to Fritz, and then it goes to Russell. Over it goes to Morrissey. To Cross, rather. Back to Russell. Here's Doherty. There's gaps all over the park at the moment, and the straight line of defence isn't there from the Gold Coast. The legs are starting to get a bit weary. Now this is Morrissey. He's 22 out from the line. Illawarra lead by 8 points to 6. Now through Cross and Simon and Russell, rather. McIndoe takes a good one. Pass goes inside, and it's a great cover tackle by Lewis. He's got the ball into touch. David Riolo was off for the corner. Lewis came across in cover. I'm not sure the touch judge ruled he went out. He got the pass inside before he went into touch.
Ruled a knock on, I think, Alan, inside there.
Yeah, which is the ball did go forward. He didn't go into touch. Everything hunky-dory at this stage. Seagulls ball.
But can they get themselves out of here? More fast pace off the mark and gains valuable metres.
What they'll have to watch now, Lewis showed last week against the Broncos, he's not scared to kick before the 6. He kicked before the 6 on the last time, but the Steelers seem to be making a bit more ground in counter-attack now with David Riolo, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on this kick, which will eventually come if Riolo can get back into the Seagulls' half.
Final kick coming now. Lewis sets himself behind the ruck. Shearer dummies, and that's not a bad hoofer either. McIndoe almost knocked that on. He comes to Clinton Moore. Beat him. Overcame Jason Twist. So McIndoe a metre in the field of play. Plays it to Fritz. And then to Riolo acting as a halfback. Fritz again for Skiffaletti. And Dockett, no, the cutout passes to Gallagher. Doherty's in looking for a bit of work. He now goes back to his wing position. And play becomes more elementary with Skiffaletti. That wasn't too elementary, but Simon will tidy up on the halfway mark. Well, he's still going. He's not held. Skiffalety's trying to get on his right shoulder. The ball's gone forward. Seagulls have come up with it with a bit of room. Well, room momentarily.
John Cross shut the door.
Now Peacock. Long pass to Shearer, who's got one-on-one with McIndoe. He got him. But here comes Riolo. The kick's ahead, Twist is onside. Look at Doherty from the far side. He'll beat Twist to the ball. And Doherty saves the day, but that's great stuff from the Gold Coast. Can the Gold Coast pin the the Steelers inside their own 22? McIndoe tries to get it out of there. Great enterprising stuff from Shearer. Russell outside the quarter. And there's a few hands on hips, Andrew Slack, on the Steelers team. And now they've mucked up to play the ball.
The Steelers look to me as if they're waiting for something to happen. There's very little support play and attack. They're throwing the pass and then stopping. John Simon makes a break. That's all very well, but he should be supported by 3 or 4 players. He had one bloke trailing then and wasn't able to get the ball. Not great attack at all. Whereas the Seagulls being desperate, things like Shearer did there, the kick and that chase from Jason Twist showed a bit of toe. I think Shearer was disappointed it wasn't Quinton Moore doing the chasing, but nevertheless, good work from the Seagulls.
So expecting something to come out of that scrum because Lewis went across and said something to Jason Twist before he fed the scrum, but they did the cross movement. He cut back the other way. But it's Danny Peacock just inside the quarter line. Martin from dummy half. And the crowd really starting to get behind their side now to try and spur them on to hit the front. At the moment they trail by 2 points. Out it goes this time to Walden. My golly, he's got through some work too. But the defence is up there. Herring comes up as dummy half. Sloppy old play the ball back to Lewis. Lewis outside to Shearer. Shearer cutting back inside. Now away to Jason Twist. He tries to step his way. Oh, he's got away from the lot of them.
He's done a lot of them.
He's blooded a lot of them, all right. He's in for the try. I want to have another look at that. He was running into a heap of players. The next minute he's skirting away from the defence.
Skiffalety's got 10 minutes in the sin bin. Skiffalety's been given 10. Izzard's been called out by Eddie Ward. It's all happening as we look at the replay.
And the switch and Shearer and Lewis again combining. And here it is, Jason Twist, a reward for his chase later. A step in and away outside Russell. They both wait for the man coming close off. Twist says, I'm not going to give it to you, pal. I'm going myself. And over he goes. There it is. This is the pass from Shearer. He'll see a dummy from Twist. He goes outside. And then the close ball to beat a Gill. Is it going to come? It sure isn't. I'm going. Gill get collared for his trouble, but I don't think he minds when he sees the 4 points. I'm sure he doesn't. The Seagulls lead 10 points to 8. There's 24 minutes left. And, of course, for 10 of those minutes, it's 12 people apiece because the Steelers have just lost Skiffolitti.
No wonder Gill didn't mind, because it took two of the defenders out of the play.
I think he does mind now, though, Alan. He's down injured, and they were a bit concerned there for him for a while. Matter of fact, they're bringing the stretcher out for him. Having a very close look at Peter Gill at this stage.
Well, seeing that replay when he was hit, there did seem to be an element of a twist in the tackle. So he was changing direction, as with the tacklers, and he's obviously been caught awkwardly.
Well, he's been, as I said earlier in this telecast, has been an outstanding buy for the Gold Coast. He's just a non-stop worker. And let's hope there's nothing too much wrong with him. Well, going off on the stretcher could be just a precautionary measure, but let's hope it's not too long before he's back in action. So while he's lining up, Terry Cook will be the replacement player for Peter Gill on the Gold Coast side. Scored a good try and reserve grade here tonight, Andrew.
Good win to the Seagulls in reserve grade, coming back after being down. So this would really cap a night if the Seagulls can get out of this one.
So Dale Shearer looking for the extra 2 points. He's got it this time. There's the extra 2. And the Seagulls lead the Steelers by 12 points to 8.
The big striding fullback's off. And he's 10 metres. Was 10, now 8. Inside Illawarra territory with Thorne. Walsh hangs on to him. Over the top. Here's Gallagher. Clinton Moore. Almost through. Cook goes to dummy half, but he's taken up place now by Herring. Lewis to Shearer's picked it up well. What's on here? Shearer looking for somebody. Back to Twist. Freestone to run it straight up the middle. Back to Lewis, and now can he put Cook into a hole? No, he can't, because the tackle over the top was too good coming about from Girdler. Twist. Lewis and Shearer in position. The stab kick. Riolo have to hurry. He'll just beat Martin to the ball. And it's all the Seagulls' pressure. They need to convert points down this end of the ground. Doherty's flung to the ground by Martin. Watson 20 metres out from his own line. 18 minutes remaining. And it's the lead to the Gold Coast by 12 points to 8. Walsh runs it out of the 22 and throws a pass which has gone forward. And so the Seagulls will have the ball just outside Illawarra's 22. And Andrew Slack, they've hit the panic button.
It seems they have. It's that pedestrian attack. I guess if necessity is the mother of invention, well, the Seagulls realised they had to do something when they lost their men, and they got inventive in attack. It's something the Steelers haven't. As we've said from the call, they haven't tried to make things happen. They've just hung around waiting for the Simons or the Russells to make the breaks. That's happened occasionally. It's fallen down in support.
So Terry Cook has got the pass back to Shearer. He has to come inside. He doesn't want to go into touch. He takes the tackle 18 out from the try line. And that's where he'll play it. Now it's with Robin Thorne. Thorne within 3 metres of the try line. He'll play the ball. Illawarra hang on. The Seagulls with Lewis. Turns it back inside to Freestone. And he still stays in the field of play.
Good defence again, John Cross.
And that's a penalty to the Siege to Illawarra. What hasn't he done? He hasn't played the ball.
Yeah, it was an incorrect play, the ball, no doubt.
Trying to kick it forward, play it forward, but totally missed it up.
So Illawarra have a chance.
Maybe he was going for the field goal.
Not sure what he was trying to do.
To get out of there, 22. Watson, oh, what a great tackle. He's got him for being offside, has he, Horsman? What's he ruled here? Or has he knocked it on?
Forward pass.
Forward pass? What's he ruled here?
I know, but the crowd's happy with it, whatever it is.
The Gold Coast so far in this match have made 145 tackles to Illawarra's 114. And now Illawarra can use a bit of catch-up on those numbers where Twist runs it. He's through. No, he's not. By golly, I thought he got them for try number 2.
He dropped that ball and Eddie Ward missed it.
He sure did.
Inside is Kerry Cook. And he's only 5 metres out. He'll play the ball. Shearer trying to barge over. And he's lost the ball in the tackle. It's worth the try. Illawarra come up with it. And Billy J. Smith, this is one hell of a football game.
You betcha, and this crowd out here at Seagulls Stadium has really been on their toes right throughout it, and it's been a great match, that's for sure. And we still have another 16 minutes of it remaining. This is Izzard. Izzard, he's not going to lie down. He's up to the halfway mark. He's going to be picked up over there by Thorne, but that was a good run. Now, Simon comes up as dummy half. Can Illawarra string some attack together? Out it comes to Russell. He can be one of the men to break the line. Back inside. And Riolo is going to be put down. Russell to dummy half. Now, Illawarra on the attack. Russell working across field, looking for someone. And it's got a bit of scrappy stuff, but there's going to be a knock-on in there. The pass coming back inside from Gallagher. And referee Warner ruled the knock-on. Well, I think from the Coast point of view just as well.
Yeah, I think that was a good call, although he was facing the other way. His hand sort of back slapped it forward towards the opposing goal line. Twist ball.
So this is Martin. Taken fairly heavily over there by Gallagher coming in over the top. This is Lewis.
Skiffaliti back on for the Illawarra.
Dean Skiffaliti back there for Illawarra. So from the play the ball back on a Freestone. Quick play the ball. Now to Shearer. Shearer dropping it back in behind the quarter line. Going back is Riolo. He comes towards Moore. Then he gets a pass away to McIndoe, who's going to be grabbed by Moore.
Good communication in defence then from the two Seagulls, Martin and Moore.
So at this stage, the Gold Coast lead by 12 points to 8. 14 and a half minutes remaining in the match. That's Watson. Crashed.
For the Steelers, Morrissey's back on for Gallagher.
So Morrissey coming back. As we see Simon working his way up the centre, but Shearer is there to grab him. Skiffaliti from dummy half, getting it away to Morrissey. Final tackle. Watch for Simon. There's the kick.
And a nothing kick it was.
Straight back to the fullback in Danny Peacock, who says, thanks very much, I'll have a bit of a run. And was going all right until he ran to the tackle of Girdler. Looked a little bit high. The crowd reckoned it was very high. So Quinton Moore about to play it. Yeah, well,
nothing vicious about it.
Darren Wyland's coming off the Gold Coast. He looks as though he's got a fairly bad injury.
So this is
like
Martin. Wyland's coming off for the Gold Coast.
Steve Jackson just on.
Looks like a shoulder for Wyland.
He's possibly got a shoulder injury over there. Shearer downfield again. Riolo goes across and takes it nicely just inside his own quarter line. So he decides to have a bit of a run. And does it well. He's still going. He's up over the halfway, Riolo. Looking for support. Where is it? Here it is. Coming up on the outside is that man again in Girdler. Girdler's going to be ankle tapped by Peacock. Lost the ball. It's into touch. Wow. Danny Peacock. Girdler looking at try number 3.
Well, Riolo did all the work, and there's what we call desperation in defence. Peacock actually missed him, but once he knew that he hadn't got a decent hold, he had that extra little flick, got a bit of an ankle tap, and that was enough to stop Girdler getting the hat-trick.
Just having a look as those players are moving across to back into the scrum. Wally Lewis and I'm sure quite a few of the other Seagulls players taking the deep breath, sucking in as much air as they can. They've still got 12 and a half minutes to go.
Troy McCarthy on for Freestone for the Gold Coast.
Troy McCarthy's out there in that Gold Coast lineup now.
Greg Dowling, I'm sure you're reluctant to give backs a rap, but it seems to me in the Seagulls play since the send-off, the wingers and the centres have said, well, listen, our forwards are doing a lot of work. We've got to start to take some up, and Shearer and Moore and Thorne, they're all doing their work from the dummy half and just taking the settlers, aren't they?
the wingers and centres have got to come in and take a bit of work off the forwards. They're down to 12 men, so they'll naturally be getting tired. But I tell you what, if Seagulls get away with this game, they want to buy Peacock a beer. And I just see Wally packing into tight head. Mate, that's one for your scrapbooks.
Well, he went from second row up to there, and they won it against the feed. So here's Shearer out to McCarthy. Then away this time to Clinton Moore. Moore down the touchline. Back inside to Jason Twist, who has absolutely had an incredible game tonight. McCarthy coming up as dummy half. He'll get it back over there to Jackson. Back on it goes to McCarthy. Shearer's down injured. No, it's not Shearer. Clinton Moore down injured. Back on to Horsnell. He decides to run it up the middle.
I dare say that if Jason Twist had been playing in any position for the Steelers tonight, then Steelers would be ahead. His support play has been outstanding.
So this is Cook getting it away. This is Martin over the borderline. Martin going to the line. Breaks out of Riolo's tackle. Races around. Will put it underneath the goalpost. And that should just about wrap it up as the Seagulls go to a lead of 16 points to 8. Wow. The Seagulls Stadium goes mad, and you can understand why.
Well, indeed. And look, that's pretty simple play. It's just hands across. The communication in defence from the Steelers seems to be non-existent. They've got the extra man, and two men are going on to one who hasn't got the ball. That leaves the gap for Martin, who shows the speed and the elusive capacity that he has. Lewis knowing when to pass, when to hold. And there's the gap for Martin. All he's got to do is scoot, gets inside Riolo, and makes better position for Dale Shearer in the kick. Still concerned back here with Clinton Moore after that initial breakout.
Yes, he's down injured at the moment, but here it is again. There's no doubt about Martin. Once he gets that break, he sees that line. Riolo was fairly long odds of pulling him down because he had the pace. He was churning his way through. Clinton Moore's back onto his feet. Dale Shearer, who's dropped into 5'8" as Lewis moved from second row and then into front row. Attempting to convert the try, which he does. So the Seagulls lead now at Seagulls Stadium is 18 points to 8.
People are starting to get to their feet to try and cheer their team home. But as Andrew Slack has just warned...
Matt Donahue.
Yeah, Sean?
Matt Donahue on for Clinton Moore.
Jason Twist, now to Troy McCarthy. And now they have to hold the ball, control it, and kick for possession, and position rather on the field. Ray Herring. Lewis takes it up like a front rower. Slung to the ground. He has a look at Russell.
And in the guise of Lewis being angry, all he does is waste a few 5 or 10 seconds, which at the end of the day could be very helpful to his side.
So Ray Herring from dummy half. Now they're on the final tackle. And they should kick probably down for McIndoe, but Lewis might go the shallow side. Well, it's over the top. That's well read by Doherty. He was on the back move as soon as Lewis was about to drop the ball to his feet. So it's now with Morrissey. Gallagher. Pass inside was a good one. So the Steelers, with only, let's have a look at the clock, 7.5 minutes remaining. Simon to Russell. Coming back infield, gets to Lewis. He holds him up underneath, and a good tackle was McCarthy. Now here's Simon. That's high. Doherty's flying, but the ball will go into touch. Watch under the guiding eyes of Robin Ford.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official attendance tonight is 8,321. Don't you feel important? You're one of them. 8,321.
Ken Jackson coming on for Steve Jackson.
It's an interesting replacement, a fullback for a front row.
Yeah, it's not bad. The former East Brisbane player.
Of course, there's had to have been a bit of shuffling of positions throughout the night for the Seagulls.
So here's Thorne running across field, and he's got the pass out wide to Donovan. Here's McIndoe coming, and so was Girdler, and they put him to ground. Now McCarthy goes to dummy half. Jackson's looking for work early. He's found work and he's found half a gap. He's 10 metres short of the halfway. Now Lewis is calling for it. Hits it up like a big front rower. Shades of Jay Sattler and P. Gallagher, maybe. Well, maybe not quite. Doesn't appreciate McIndoe hanging on to him. Jason Twist, short ball. Shearer, I think it might have been around the collar from Teitzel. He's gone down. I might have been wrong. But he will play the ball. Struggles to his feet.
And another 20 seconds bites the dust.
So Jason Twist will take it away and play it to Raymond Herring. So Cook, over the halfway mark, plays it to Herring. Now Jackson, he can't kick this fellow. That'll make Riolo have a bit of a sprint. Sits up, he comes back at Cook, and he grabs hold of him with Robin Thorne. The Seagulls lead by 18-8. It's been a sensational match here, with Brent Todd sent off in the first 60 seconds of the match. They've played with 12 men, and they may be going to get away with their first win in the Winfield Cup for 92. Lonson, 25 metres outside his own quarter. Now the chip's on. Who's covering? Jason Twist. He gets the bounce. He's got a bit of room to move. He'll come inside, showed a lot of intelligence and takes the tackle. Shearer goes to dummy half.
Why wouldn't he have cramp? Hasn't stopped all night, Jason Twist.
So Shearer will play it to Matt Donovan or Herring. Herring will go to dummy half. Lewis is looking for it. Well, Herring takes the tackle. Now Shearer. He and Lewis have combined well tonight. The two good thinking heads, and Lewis will take the tackle. Wear down the clock, stay on the feet as long as he can. Now to Jackson. McCarthy, who wants it? He runs himself. 32 out from the line. Here's Shearer. Turns it inside to Horsnell. And he is almost at the quarterway on the final tackle. Peacock. He's going to run it. He can't kick it, and they've got numbers this side. But I'll tell you what, there's plenty of Gold Coast cover. Oh, what a great tackle, Troy McCarthy.
Played well since he's come on, McCarthy.
McIndoe trying to get away. Can't beat Donovan's tackle. We're in the last 3 and a bit minutes. David Watson gives it back to Simon. Can he get his hands free? He almost did. Now they're on the halfway. They need to score 2 tries. So Morrissey gives it to Russell, and he dummies, and he ran out of support, but if he gets his hand free, there's plenty this side. Now they're on the final tackle. Here goes Simon, long pass, out for Girdler, and that, he's got the pass to McIndoe. McIndoe, oh, great stuff. Wally Lewis. He's asked McIndoe, is he okay? He thought he might have hurt him. But Wally Lewis, captain, coach, star and the leader of the ship.
Is this Hollywood or what? Who wrote the script of this game?
With 2 minutes 40 seconds remaining on the clock, Billy J. Smith, this has been a great win here by the Seagulls tonight.
That it has. They deserve every bit of this tonight. And this crowd will give them an enormous reception when they leave the field. And when we're trying to win, we'll have a man of the match coming up shortly. Not the easiest decision to make because, by golly, there's been some...
Usually we've got 13, we only got 12 to choose.
Dale Shearer, or rather, Shearer having a bit of trouble there getting back onto his feet. But I think I can understand these blokes being a bit tough. They have given it everything they've got tonight. And this crowd is going absolutely wild here, I can tell you. That's Lewis taking it up.
So the Steelers were beaten everywhere, weren't they, Bill? But I think the most important place they were beaten was in the head. They panicked. Well, they didn't panic. They thought things were going to come. And by the same token, the Seagulls didn't panic. They said, well, there's certain things we've got to do with 12, without 13, with only the 12 of us. We'll try and do them well, and that's what they've done. The Steelers have just waited. Nothing's happened. Been an outstanding performance, both from a mental point of view and a physical point of view from the Gold Coast Seagulls. And to that end, obviously, their captain coach has to be complimented.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt having someone of the calibre of Lewis out there under the circumstances is an enormous help, and it's worked tonight and worked extremely well. So now it's Watson taking it up. He's about 5 or 6 metres short of the halfway mark. Simon gets it out to Fritz out there. They keep it going. On it goes to Doherty. Lost the ball in the tackle. Picked up by Russell. It'll carry forward. So here's the last throw of the dice with a minute remaining. The scrum to pack down and the Gold Coast to feed. And there'll be some very relieved men on that field with that full-time hooter sound.
Just going back to Jason Twistram and Andrew Slack, I think this is his third first-grade game.
Well, he played well last week. If he gets better and keeps getting better and better, I think the Broncos wouldn't get in ahead of Alan Langer, but they'd see him as a bad loss.
So it's Shearer taking it up, but not for far, and taking plenty of time to get back onto his feet.
The pack's done a great job. That's 7 straight scrums to the Seagulls now.
So they've all got an attack of the wobbles here. Not a Cook. Cook will get it up to a couple of metres from halfway. Crowd really starting to warm up with 10 seconds remaining in the match. A bit of running across field. And you won't have to worry, folks. It's all over full time here at Seagulls Stadium. And the Gold Coast have run out winners to the tune of 18 points to 8. 18 points to 8. And what a performance here tonight. In a huddle there with their captain coach, Wally Lewis, who is, I'm sure, quite fatigued. As you can see, they put in a big effort, but would be very, very relieved indeed.